Right, for a horrific event like that, and a massacre, and the deaths of young people and teachers as well. I was talking to my wife Susan last night, and we have a niece that teaches in Nashville, about 10 miles from that school. So there was certainly it brings it home in many ways, right? Not only to the individuals that are, that are being murdered, right, that are being assassinated, but also what about the families that are directly impacted or think they might be. So it's very unsettling. That's why we continue to do the work we're doing here in Rhode Island, and that's why we're continuing to ask the General Assembly to pass legislation that would incrementally keep us safer. And there's no one silver bullet on this thing, and there's no one way to actually get it done, but we continue to do the work in Rhode Island, working with schools, working with the General Assembly, passing legislation, and also enforcing laws that are going to impact us in a way. Mental health issues are a big part of this. We know that. We're working in the schools right now. So there's no words to describe a horrific event.
I was going to ask if the schools here are safe, but just yesterday we had a dozen schools across the state all get these doxing calls, these hoax calls. It seems to be an ongoing thing. Threats to schools.
I think that's one of the biggest fears that we all have, and I chaired a school board for 12 years in the Blackstone Valley Prep Maryland Academy, and we know that safety was one of our absolute top priorities, and it always was unnerving as you're hearing things that are happening outside the state, and it keeps you alert and trying to do everything you can to make sure that those things don't happen in our state.
You led a rally the last day of January calling for the assault weapons ban passed this year. Here it is 2 months later. Does it seem like the legislature is dragging its feet on this?
Well, they still got a couple more months. It was late in the session last year when I did step forward and ask for those pieces of legislation that got passed last year to get passed. We work directly with the Speaker and the Senate President. I have lunch with them every week. I had lunch yesterday talking about important issues. I'm sure that those are going to come up before the session's done, and our position has not changed. We would like to see the bill passed, and we'd like to make sure that we're doing everything we can from where we sit to protect our students and our families and our teachers.
Has the urgency changed?
Remember last year the urgency was about Albany and about Texas, right? So, and then when we had the event, at that point in time, I recall that we had, and within the first 30 days, we had over 50 assaults that were going on in the country. So the urgency is there. It has not been reduced. It has not been elevated. It's a priority, and we're going to continue to work to make those things happen in the General Assembly this year.
It's a new day. Anything new on the soccer stadium in Kentucky for taxpayers, or what we want to know?
Other than the fact that I have full confidence that project is going to be realized, and the developers are doing what they said they would do in terms of inserting equity in. As far as the state, we're going to keep our commitments. We expect the city of Pawtucket to do the same. And we're drafting a letter to the Federal Reserve that states that this is a problem, what they've done in terms of accelerating interest rates to the degree they have. We're going to be calling on the Federal Reserve and hope that other governors will join in. I was on a call with the National Governors Association last week right after I had mentioned that I question what's happening on the Federal Reserve. And we are going to call on them to make it known that they're done with raising and that they're going to start lowering. We have real estate values that are settled, and they're actually being reduced. You see that I go up and down here in Warwick, the gas prices are well below $3 a gallon along the strip. What are we fighting for, and what is the damage that we could have? I was in D.C. meeting with labor leadership on Friday, and they're very concerned. And it's a long-winded way to explain what is the problem, but it is a serious, serious problem that the Fed is causing our local communities when they're concerned that there's 2 jobs for every worker that's looking for a job right now. They want to reverse that. They want to have two people looking for one job and head people to the unemployment lines, and we just can't be quiet about that. But to answer your question very simply, the project is going to move ahead. I'm very pleased with the developer. I know the state's going to be prepared to keep its commitments, and the city of Pawtucket, I expect that they will do the same. And now it's up to us to make sure that we're giving a loud voice to the dangers that the Fed is causing by accelerating interest rates the way they have.
The governors are going to tell the Federal Reserve what to do with
I'm a governor
rates.
that's going to make it express that. One of the things on the call that we had with the NGA with Bank of America economists, he said that the Fed was late. They've been very aggressive, and he said if we cause enough pain, then we might lower interest rates. Well, I'm here to tell you that pain is coming in many different ways unless they start to signal that they're going to lower interest rates.
Governor, with the City Council has expressed some concern about this affecting the two new high schools that they're planning on building. Any way that the state would consider stepping in or offering any support? If it
No, I think that what's going to happen is going to be local decisions, as it was in the bond, and if they're short on money, they're going to have to kind of figure out how to address that. The state has got the $250 million. They put $50 million of cash in. We're going to keep our end of the bargain in terms of our commitments, and the school construction is still a priority, and I would expect that the cities and towns are going to be able to deal with it just like I did when I was a mayor under similar circumstances.
But Governor, with Tidewater Landing seemingly in freefall.
No, it's not. I'm going to correct that right now. That is not in freefall. The developer is holding up their end of the bargain. They're bringing the equity to the table that they said they would. We're bringing in the dollars that we said they would. The city is as well. Right now, the only problem is accessing capital, which is a problem. Now, take a look at what's happening there. 80% of that cost of that project is covered with either private equity or public contribution that's already been committed. 20% of that project, we're looking to get a first position on a mortgage. This is what the Fed is causing. Anybody in normal times would put in 20% in a first position on a project of any type of real estate project. And it's not in free fall, and I want to correct that with anybody that's saying that. It is not in free fall, and the developer is going to make that happen.
But even so, Mayor Grebian yesterday stated the fact that they don't have all the private equity that they need, and quite frankly, should the Commerce Corporation?
I was on the call. I'll let the developer speak for himself. But I was on a call in D.C. with labor leaders that are concerned about the Fed actions moving people that are doing work to the unemployment lines. That is the problem. That's the issue. And I had Brett Johnson on a call. I'll let him speak for himself. But I can tell you that they have put together the private equity that they said they would at the beginning of the project.
Right, Yanni. Governor, any updates on conversations about using the Memorial Hospital for housing?
No, that's just a work in progress, but the work continues with Secretary Pryor and Hannah Moore, and we're hopeful that the General Assembly will approve a budget that actually establishes a housing office and puts 20-plus people in that office to tackle this issue that we've been asked to tackle.
What do you think about the revelations in the Boston Globe about Michael Mota and his involvement in the hospital?
I haven't read that, but that's why I say it's a work in progress. And we are working to, if that's not an option, look, there's $30 million in the budget to address this issue, to create a real estate or facilities that will address this issue. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the General Assembly passes that so that we can actually put that money.
I haven't read the article about Michael Mota.
No, I've been told that there's some issues that surround him, but I have not read the article.
The announcement of Breeze Airways.
I read the Providence Journal. I listen to
as a new hub
WPRO.
in Rhode Island.
What's that?
The announcement of Breeze Airways and their new hub in Rhode Island. What is that going to bring to the state, and how excited are you?
Yeah, well, that's we put destination marketing in our budget the first time ever out of the airport. We are expecting that that reports are going to come in that's been very successful. We're building on that this year, asking the General Assembly to improve that as well. And the Breeze airline is a great addition. We're expecting an announcement that's coming tomorrow that will explain exactly what is going to happen there, but it's jobs and it's additional planes, and we're going to continue to work with all the airlines that are servicing at our airport to make sure that we are providing the resources that we need that will bring people to the state of Rhode Island and spend their money here.
All right, thank you guys.
You're gonna